can see as we jump onto the reef for our first semi-final for this Amazon European Masters.
There you go, Rogue, on the blue side, LDLC on the red. Are we set up for the all-LFL final? We're going to find out after this. Well, of course, the other side, the bracket, K-Corp and Vitality B, both coming out of the French League, joined by LDLC in this one. The favourites for the tournament, some are saying. There you go, Rogue have had an exceptional tournament so far, especially in those quarterfinals. They're going to be putting up a big test.
Yeah, anticipating an invade here in the early game. Usually with Rakan, what we'll see from them is that they start W, they go with the wall, try to go into a bush, catch someone off guard. They wanted to be ready for that, but no one on LDLC got to be aggressive, and because of that, they just drop a ward in River, they drop a ward at the early entrance of the red buff, so they can keep track of Rabble if he decides to go in on any counter jungle shenanigans.
And you see that they're still like buckling up on that particular burst because they're expecting Yike to do that late invade towards the red buff. But something that has been really interesting in general about Yike, and I'd like to keep our eyes on for this particular game as well, now that he's on Kha'Zix, is that on every other champion except the Kha'Zix, he has been full clearing his entire jungle. He'll do a full clear from red side to blue, and then he will try to move into the Raptors to try and check for possible shenanigans there. Now with the Kha'Zix, you might even look for something earlier because Aika on the LeBlanc will most likely take a very aggressive trade towards Knight. And usually what you want to do with LeBlanc is you want to trade someone's HP because Ari has more wave clear at this point.
And it's very interesting between these two junglers specifically. Most of our junglers in the league, they're all about, okay, let me get my laners ahead, let them get a lead, and then we play around together around the Drake objective later, anything like that. But no one of our junglers here today are that kind of jungler. They love to have low jungle proximity, meaning that they're very much about being in their own jungle. The laners are the one coming to them when they want to facilitate them, and quite often on their second clear or third clear, they will be in the enemy jungle. They will be trying to take away the enemy Raptors. So what I'm expecting, at least from the get-go here, is that we'll see them just clear their jungle camps, we'll wait for them to get on the second clear, and then depending on where their laners currently have that lane, they will be trying to make aggressive moves.
And I mean, I'm very excited because we've got this Ahri and this LeBlanc in the mid lane. These are two champions that can get involved in skirmishes early. They're able to move into the jungle and support when you've got people more like the Victor who can get that priority in lane but aren't necessarily able to go through and really scrap 2v2 early. Then things can be a little bit more tricky, but as we can see, Knight and Aika already going at each other.
And I'd like to set up some micro as well, just to, when it finally happens in the game, we can talk about it too. But Knight with the charm, of course, will be able to cancel the dashes. So if Aika dashes forward with the W on the LeBlanc, can be cancelled. If DOS dashes forward with the W as well, can be cancelled. The same goes for Yike as well. So there is actually some micro potential for Knight to set up some huge outplays. But for now, it's all about just going, be about farming these lanes, waiting for the level 6s to come through, waiting for the priority to play around, and that's where we get aggressive.
And again, you see what we mentioned earlier, right? That the LeBlanc will trade into the Ahri, will chunk down the Ahri, and then we'll have first movement onto the river if Aika wants to. And that has been the case the entire time. As you mentioned, you want to facilitate your jungler if you are on LDLC. He's gonna take, he's gonna go top side, he's gonna clear his bot side, and then he's going to invade Raptors. Once he goes to Raptors and see that they've been cleared, he moves straight into mid lane. Knight moves a little bit too far forward, doesn't even use his flash right there, and ends up going down. That is massive for the jungle, because if you look now in the inventory, Kha'Zix has backed, he's already got the whip, which means that from now on, he's gonna be looking for that Viego. And since the LeBlanc will always have priority over the Ahri because of the chunking that we mentioned earlier, I think that Yike and Ike are gonna be a deadly duo.
And that is also just the story of today, the mid laners. So far, we haven't really seen them fall behind, but let's have a look at the replay once again. As you mentioned yourself, Trouble, Knight has just been taking too many traits that Ike has come across as a favorable person. And yeah, I mean, there's not much to it. They just get blown up.
So let's have another deeper look. We're down in the bot lane, Locker versus X-Kick. Two players who have been talked about a whole bunch so far in this tournament, but they've got so much ability to dominate the Rift.
Exactly, and I think specifically for these bot laners with the versatility that we talked about so many times, it will come in, but probably later into the game. So far though, it has just been about trading. It has been about moving around on the map and specifically moving around into the mid lane. But for now, just back to clearing between the two junglers, seeing if they can get that tracking down. So far, LDLC with the better tracking, with the better vision. We see the aggressive pink wards, and we see that they want to know where Rappel is going.
Keeping our eyes down here just to make sure that there's not going to be any kind of aggressive place rather than pre-level 6, unlikely at this time. But let's just keep our eyes across the map. Yike now going to be moving forward a little bit, just getting towards this dragon. Infernal will be the one to start us off, and it looks like he might actually just want to start this one up.
Yeah, and especially since you will know that this Dragon is being started from the side of a Go Rogue. You have the priority down bot. You see that the bot lane of LDLC moved towards the top side as well, towards the river. You know that Yike is going to be around. I'm looking at Rebel, I'm like, what have you got? Because usually when you have a Jace in your team, you want to play towards the top side of the map. You want to start stacking waves and dive permanently that tank. But especially because of what Gubok mentioned as well in the draft, it's like this Malphite, all he has to do is to start stacking ammo, potentially get maybe an Anathema's chain later on for the Ahri, and he's set for the entire game. But right now, he doesn't have these defenses. He doesn't have these resources on him, and Simivac has been doing a fantastic job at shoving waves over and over again. But because of that disruption in the mid lane, because Rebel had to waste his time in the mid lane to keep the wave where it is for his mid laner going down, it has sort of disrupted all these wave building that Simivac has been doing in the top side of the map, and we haven't necessarily seen any aggression yet.
Yeah, and that's so interesting as well. That's kind of how a Go Rogue has won that game. It has been from their solo laner's prowess. It's been them getting a lead, and the only time we really saw Go Rogue contested in groups, the 2 losses they were handed, that was when they were playing against Vitality B, who had arguably the better laners, who had the better players, and all of a sudden, with Rabble not having the facilitation by Knight, by Simivac, as he usually would have, they were struggling. This time around again, it was Ica and Yike that struck first. This is a best of 5, of course, but this will be the story of today's series. Mid-jungle, most of the time, will be the talking point in the early game.
And I'm also a little bit surprised out there because we saw Rabble shadowing the bot lane a little bit, whilst the Dragon had gone down for a while now, so you know that the Kha'Zix is not going to be towards the bot side of the map. He's going to probably reset, cash in on the gold, and go towards the top side of the map where he started previously. So I feel like Rebel might be a little bit behind when it comes to trying to track Yike onto the map, which is very arguably positive for the Kha'Zix. As long as people do not know where you are, you can't take this isolation trade. And we saw what happened tonight once he steps a little bit too far forward.
Exactly, we saw exactly what happened. Knight going down for that first blood. The gold lead isn't massive at the moment. Ego Rogue managing to hold their own in a lot of different positions, which is great for them because this is a team that isn't necessarily the ones that want to take the bull by the horns, as it were, in these early exchanges. They're happy to go through into that 15-minute mark, even or very slightly ahead, and they can still pull off big plays. However, for LDLC, they'll be reasonably happy with what's going on as Rift House started up.
It's such an interesting dynamic when you mention that as well, because before a Go Rogue came into European Masters, they were exactly like LDLC in the early game. They were the one who got ahead. Now, speaking of priority, once again coming in from the bot laners, with Rift Hell started up, we can see Beans who's making his move off. Dust is making his move. They might be a little delayed, but the rest of LDLC, they're ready to contest.
And Malphite does have the magic R button as well.
Let's keep an eye on this one. They're going to be smited away, but that's the ultimate onto 2. That's huge as Yike follows through. Looking for Knight, but he's going to be able to dash away. Follow through by Ica. Looking for that last order, that can't find it. As Knight makes quick and leaves. Big ultimate from B2 will catch out members, but now everyone's coming through. It's a full-fledged team fight very early on as Lucky now moving forward. Cuts down, Rabble grabbing Ragnar as Yike moves to the wind. Will be able to escape.
And crucially in that team fight too, you look at the levels. Beanzer, he's level 6, Doss, he's level 5. They had an ultimate advantage. It was so easy for them to fight out this one. Where the LDLC, yes, they had the proactivity. Yes, they had the engagement immediately. But when they couldn't shut down the kill immediately, the fight just faltered.
And I want you to look at the map right now because you don't just see the Nautilus, you see both the Nautilus and Ezreal moving onto the map. And you see how Knight is baiting, getting everyone surviving with a sliver of health, but still everyone is chasing to kill that Ahri. And when they go too deep, you have a Viego right there that can get reset after reset after reset. He resets, he gets the Malphite, he will get over the map, and by the time this is over, Ezreal and Nautilus are there to also save the day.
And it's massive tunnel vision going towards the Ahri, who's such a slippery champion to grab onto. X-Kick, the only member of both teams not to be involved, grabs a couple of plates.
And that has been the case for the entire quarterfinals for LDLC as well, right? Every time there was a play on the map for LDLC, even if they lost that play, X-Kick will stay bot of the map. He would take plating after plating after plating. He would become so strong that by the time LDLC chose to take the fight, he would be such a strong AD carry with so many items on him that it wouldn't matter if they lost a couple of fights. If you look at the gold, it's whatever. For LDLC are still ahead. They still have the Dragon.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It was a dead objective that never got picked up, so what we only got out of it was the fight, and that fight allowed Rabble to gain a gold advantage against Yike. So between the two junglers, 300 gold lead has gone over to Rabble. It's not going to mean much right now, but when we get into more clears, he'd start clearing them faster. He'd start being the one with the counter jungler with a level advantage now as well. We might see the tide swing a little bit, but we need to see the link up. We need to see Rabble move around with Beansu. Doss has been very good at link up so far. I want to see it being responded by a Go Rogue.
Absolutely, Rakan has been all over the map. Maybe hasn't been able to get involved with too many individual kills, but has been being a little bit more proactive than we've seen Beamsu so far in this game. But of course, the Nautilus is going to be very impactful. We saw it already in that last team fight. He could be looking maybe to leave the Ezreal, who we know is a safe bot lane, and can self-peel and get around the map.
And I'm actually very surprised, because if we're looking at the map right now, Yike was waiting on the top side burst for quite a while, right? He's fallen 20 CS behind to Rubble. Rubble is level 8 right now, while Yike is level 7. And even though he's playing the Kha'Zix and he should technically be farming to be very scary later on together with the LeBlanc or bundle up with the LeBlanc, we haven't necessarily seen that. And Rubble so far seems to be coming up ahead.
And on top side, you can see it. They want to just crash this in. Ragnar, he's already so beefy. He should be able to get out of this with unstoppable force.
I don't know, a lot of damage coming down the ultimate from Viego and catches him on the very edge of the sword.
Little bit of a blunder. I don't know if I just missed the ultimate wasn't up there, but for now, at least is. And yeah, you tell me it is. At least 2 Drakes does go to LDLC. They get the cross map to come through. Nice pickup from Sinmimak and Rappel, but I can't help but feel like it came to Rappel's own mistake.
At this point, I'm gonna play devil's advocate right here and say it's still worth for LDLC. If you look both sides of the map, plus 15 CS for Exakick, they take those. 2 Dragons already down the line, they take those. The only problem for them will be when Sinmivak on that Jace start joining these Dragon fights, when LDLC is gonna have to be playing through these small choke points. And mind you, this is also a mountain rift that we have right now, so the choke points have gotten even narrower. So once this shock blast start landing with the Eclipse that he has right now, because he's so far ahead, are gonna hurt a lot.
I think, though you mentioned the mountain rifts, Malphite's going to love that if they can get involved. The dominance at the moment has been for LDLC on these Dragons. If he can get even beefier, it's going to become so much easier for him to engage into these fights and then not really care about anyone except Knight until, as you mentioned, the Anathema's chains might come through.
Oh, it's also just due to the fact that you take a look at the itemization coming through from Knight. Already with the boots, he's gone for Merc Treads instead. Magic Pen is not going to be coming through. When you're playing against a Mountain Drake, that penetration, that goes a long way. And now that you don't have it, well, you're going to be dealing even less damage. You're the only AP damage dealer as well. So the fact that he's already down 1 kill, or at least 1 death here, and he's falling behind in the laning phase, it's not a good side from a Go Rogue, but there's still the pick potential in him. But I think we just need to set the stake. The longer this game goes, the more Drakes being stacked for LDLC, the more the game goes away from a Go Rogue.
Guys, ultimate coming on through. Ragnar needs to be a little bit careful on tower, though. We'll be able to dash away. Dos gets the first kill of the fight. Yike goes down as well, though. LDLC trying to escape from Rabble, looking to try and get the resets. It's a double for the Viego. Looking for more as Knight turns up to the fray. Can they land the charm? Looking towards Dos. Ike is there as well. We'll get a bit of damage down. The charm goes white, but the damage is still good. Dos goes gold. He might be able to find a second longer Beatsu there with the ult, but it'll have to be a drive if they want to get a kill. Not enough damage as Dos gets away.
And we mentioned one of the win conditions for the side of a Go Rogue is their mid-jungle synergy. Knight following Rubble around. Rubble playing that Viego, taking it away from Yike, which he's so strong on, and getting reset after reset. 4-0 for the Ultra Liga jungler right there. Level 9 to level 8 for him as well. He's always been ahead. He's been ahead of the play. He's cashing in the kills and the CS.
And I think it's coming in at a really good time from the Go Rogue as well. If they don't deter this dive, it suddenly LDLC take it over again. They pick up all the kills. I'm going to make the statement that the game is already running away from them, right? Due to the Drakes we also just mentioned before. But it's so nice to see come out from Rabble and Knight, as you mentioned specifically. They have been a jungle mid-duo since 2019. The experienced viewer will know this as well, but the synergy has always been there for them.
Can I also tip my hat to Dos right there for his amazing footwork at dodging pretty much everything thrown at him.
Exakick once again going to be the beneficiary of plays happening on the other side of the map. That's first tower going down to LDLC, and while we're saying the game might be running away from them a little bit in the top side, they're still able to make things happen.
And Dos now being able to just clear out some vision, making sure they stay aggressive on it. We've been talking about these junglers as well. Rabble clearing out his own jungle at the moment, currently 1 level ahead, 4 kills, 20 CS ahead as well. And yeah, it's just looking good for him, honestly.
We might have some stats for you as well for Rubble, because he has been the one, there we go, he has been the one that we've been highlighting, and in groups he has been such a pivotal part for our Go Rogue. You mentioned also Gulbuk, how he does like to be in his jungle very early farming, and then he uses that advantage to push further, ahead in gold at 8, ahead in XP at 8.
I was talking to the stat guy about this one. I was like, listen, I've been watching a lot of Rappel now. Can you give me the statistics of his jungle proximity? And it was like, yeah, it's one of the lowest in the league. He must really hate his laners matters, is what the stat guy was telling me. And, you know, I don't think it's necessarily that, but Rabble is just very happy to gain his own leads as an individual, not so much playing around the teammates, but having teammates playing around him.
Maybe his laners love him.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, hopefully it's not that one-sided, but goes both ways. Unconditional love. I don't believe it.
I mean, have managed to pick up themselves the Rift Herald. Second of the game, although the first one wasn't actually picked up. So this is going to be the first time we get to see it on the Rift in this series. Icon bot side looking towards Knight. A little bit of poke coming down, but Knight able to just walk away.
It's Luden's Echo finally built up for Micah. You can see the item advantage. And once again, Knight, he's gone for a defensive route with the Murd Treads. So not much to fire back there in the tank.
And honestly, I want you guys to look at the map right now because the entire bot quadrant of Rabble's jungle,
a little one-sided.
It's looking fully lit up in red. You know why? Because in 10 seconds, the third dragon will come up. LDLC have already banked 2. They want that soul point. But guess what? Sinmivak is there. They spawned their Rift Herald in the middle as well. And they're going to use the very fed Jace to potentially push out LDLC.
They're going to try and get this charge coming through, but it looks like members are moving away. Rabble needs to be a little bit careful. That's a lot of damage from Ica. The stun comes through. Binsu is here now. The fight kicks off in earnest as DOS dives away. Will be hit by the knockup from the ultimate from Jace. Simnavac with the damage on the regard. And so much is happening. It looks like Jace is going to be able to get away from the backside as LDLC move forward. Catch the ultimate. Only that's on the Rabble who's able to move away. And LDLC, they're fishing. They want this fight to continue. Yike jumps forward and gets the kill onto Binsu. Now Rabble needs to be careful. Cinemac returns to the fray. Ragnar gets away. Burning Globe is still alive as Lucka parting shots.
Cue the montage music. Everyone is having individual highlights in this one. Animation cancelling coming through from Sinuvag, as well from Rabble on the Unstoppable Force, and then Ike as well cleaning up. I mean, this fight, so many micro things to identify. In the end, priority is still around the Drake for LDLC.
The fact that the 2 main carries, Ike on the LeBlanc and Sinmivak on the Jace, are still alive. It's so pivotal for both.
This isn't done yet though. Yokia jumping, gets taken down. The dragon is secured. Rabble needs to be careful. Will be jumped on. Ike gets the kill on the other side. Sinuvag is trying to get damage down, but will be caught out as DOS takes him out. It's just like that, LDLC.
In the end, Drake will finally get picked up from a Go Rogue, but at what cost? 3 members goes down for 1 kill in exchange. And I mean, let's have a look at it again, and let's just, you know, all in it, because in the beginning, so much damage coming out. DOS being a real homie, tanking up the hook, then setting up Ica for failure afterwards with the dodge, and then the hammer slam, of course. It's so beautiful.
And then look at that, like LDLC are everywhere. They're going down the map, they're going up the map, they're going towards mid lane. They're all split up, which is exactly what you want when you've got big champions like the Ezreal, like the Ari, like the Diego. They're fishing for this reason. They're fishing to pop all their poke on you, and especially when Sinmiva gets into the fight, we saw how much damage that Jace can dish out. All of that CS that was given to him freely toward the top side of the map is paid dividends here, and honestly, Rabble 2 levels up on Yike as well in this particular fight. He puts up a fight, takes the dragon, very pivotal to stop soul point for LDLC.
Yeah, a little unlucky there for Yike when he jumped in. Drake reset, and his execute coming through from the isolation damage together with the smite wasn't quite there. But you're right, stopping that Drake from coming through can actually buy you so much time in a game where you were afraid you were running out of time. So a Go Rogue, they stay alive, but still at a deficit.
Yikes going fishing. Ica alongside him. They're looking towards Binsu and Rabble, but need to be a little bit careful. There's a lot of CC, and you can see on the top of your screens that Knight is moving down. Ica might actually be the one that's caught out here, diving forward, looking towards the Ari chain will land, but it's going to be Knight able to just sneak away with the ultimate, but that's not available now.
But that's not available right now, and again, it's Exakick taking down towers. Story of LDLC's life. Rabble will stick around, but again, Exakick takes another tower where LDLC are very busy somewhere else in the map. The fact that Knight doesn't have the ult means he can't go in, and you see that the follow-up is not there. If Knight was there with the ultimate, they could have been able to potentially make a pick onto that Rakan, and this is starting to become a problem, because 2 mid lane towers taken away means a lot of your vision is going to be taken away from you with it, and a Go Rogue are going to have to be very careful face-checking bushes with 2 assassins.
But at least they're not just sitting and watching while they're falling behind. They are trying to be proactive on side lanes when they can. Ragnar was grouping around is at the cost of a bot lane turret. It's not going to mean much for a Go Rogue, but it does give them some priority moving into his jungle, stealing away a few camps. Once again, they're not ahead, but they're not trying to just completely roll over and die either, which is a nice side if you are a Go Rogue, an Ultra League fan as well, with your last seed playing against the LFLs. Well, first seed coming through. They have loads of them, I mean.
They have every single seed that you could possibly want.
It doesn't matter what seed it is, it's LFL.
It's an LFL team.
You know, it's a tournament favourite. We'll just call it that, as they do manage, Ago Rogue, to pick themselves up their own mid tower, so they're opening up the map a little bit as well. Of course, much deeper run in the mid lane coming from LDLC gives them a lot of time, and we've already seen how much control in the jungle they can have when it comes to vision.
Yeah, and it just comes down to, of course, the priority and aggression that's already come through from LDLC. But once again, the link up as well. I feel like they have been very good playing around Rappel, but it's Rappel leading the charge and then having his laners come around him. But on LDLC, I think they're way more proactive in terms of being the team that links up, goes together and said, "Dust, come around me right now. We're going to get some aggressive vision. We're going to back out." Whereas it's a little more proactive from the side of a Go Rogue.
And look at right now. I'm just going to show you the map real quickly. Top lane is being pushed by Aika. Mid lane was pushed by Exakick. Bot lane was pushed by Ragnar. Every single time LDLC get a reset, they'll shove in the waves first and then they'll move in to get more vision into a Go Rogue's jungle. And this makes it really easy for them to start setting up. Not for potentially even just a fight, but a pickup. You have two very potent assassins on your team. You've got the AD assassin in the likes of Kha'Zix and AP assassin in the likes of the LeBlanc, who is actually level 13. The only one who's matching that is Exakick, who's been solo farming, and Sinmivak on the other side. So if you can manage to use these two with all the fog of war you've created for a Go Rogue, it could be a very quick pick.
Yeah, but I also think you mentioned it there, Exakick, 250 farm to Locker's 170. Yeah. He's really scary in the Sire now, and his way of displaying the feather damage with long range is going to be very crucial in setting up this vision around the third Drake coming through. Potential third Drake for LDLC, of course, fourth of the map. Currently bot lane gaining priority from Ragnar. They're backing off mid lane, but LDLC, they still have leverage on this one. It's not completely forfeited, despite a Go Rogue getting pressure in the mid lane.
Lexkick going to have his back cancelled by the pressure coming through. 30 seconds, as you mentioned, with the resets. LDLC want to have full pockets when they come in to fight for this dragon. Of course, it would set themselves up for soul point again, but Iker on the upside maybe looking to try and get an assassination, but there are too many members of Rogue. Needs to be forced to back away.
I think the most important thing right here for a Go Rogue is to spot where LeBlanc and Malphite are coming from. One, because they will assassinate you, the LeBlanc, and two, because Ragnar can create so much nuisance with the ultimate on immobile targets such as Sinmivak, who wants to carry right now onto this chase. They spotted both, but because that mid lane wave needs to be the priority, you need to shove that in. They have allowed Aika to slip behind their backs and hide into Fog of War. Will be spotted right now.
Grouping. I feel a fight is in the offing as Bizu needs to be a bit careful. That's the old ball to two. The trigger has been pulled as Rabble moves back. Bizu's already so low. X-Kick manages to escape on the side. Damage coming on down. But LDLC, they've got better health bars right now. Knight moving forward. Charm will be flashed away from as Rabble can't find the stun either. LDLC a little bit wounded, but they're going to look to control this dragon.
Already lots of ultimates used there, but still from the side of a Go Rogue, they still have that Ari ultimate. Nope, I take that back.
Damage onto Lucker. That's disgusting as Ezreal has to back away. Is that enough for them to start the dragon? Yike and X-Kick thinks so. Teleport coming through the back as well.
Now you can say it, all ultimates are down for both teams. I feel like a Go Rogue just need to walk it out, boys. You just need to walk it out, boys. It's fine. It's still the third dragon. You still have soul to fight for. But when this soul comes through, we have seen how LDLC are setting up for these fights. And that was yet another fight that they set up really nicely for.
You can see how close it gets. You can see the meticulous team play as well from LDLC. Despite the fights getting messy, they stay composed. They send Ragnar back. They come in with a teleport, and when the advantage is gained, well, they're just able to pick up the objective. And as she said, the Go Rogue, walk it off, back off, try to go some resets, get some jungle camps, get back into it, otherwise in the game.
And look at this instantly. Top wave pushing in for LDLC. Mid wave pushed in underneath tower. Bot lane wave was not pushing, but Aika and Ragnar instantly moved towards the bot side of the map to shove that in too. They have been fantastic managing every single wave before every objective and after every objective, which gives them so much advantage vision-wise on the map.
And when you've got a game which, on the surface, when you just look at gold, is so close still, having this control, having this wave dominance could be crucial. Now when we look at Baron potentially being the next big objective for the next 4 minutes, being able to push. Oh, nice flash from Sinmivak. Iker's there as well. There is 2v1. What can Sinmivak do? The answer is not very much as he gets one more hammer blow. Iker gets the kill.
Very aggressive in the mid lane. They see if they can come through with a respawn. Knight dashes forward.
Chugly dodged away from the X-Kick. Needs to be a little careful as Knight, but running forward, looking towards Yike, but he's going to jump over into the Raptor pit, and everyone leaves.
Messy fight, either way, at least from the mid lane point of view, but Sinmivak down towards that bot side, he's just overextended. He doesn't have the vision to facilitate a push down there, and he gets punished immediately.
Yeah, and it's a little bit questionable, right? Because you would expect a Jace to be on the sideline and shoving it that hard. One, when you have vision, as you mentioned, Gulbok. And two, if there is maybe an objective going on the other side of the map and you want to force LDLC to go towards Jace, use him as bait and then potentially take the Baron. But none of the two was
Surely
happening
not.
right there, so maybe some sort of miscommunication. Ica?
I don't know. He's got himself the passive, of course, but they know exactly which one it is because he's the one that's burning with red buff. Teleport coming on through. They still want to catch on to this LeBlanc who's running up a river. Support will be coming on through. The snipe is going to be flashed, and Ica gets away.
So flash for a teleport from Sinmivak as well. That would actually help LDLC a little bit with opening up the map. Now that they have teleport coming up in just a moment's time as well from Ragnar. So when that third Drake or fourth Drake rather finally comes through, they might be able to gain themselves a little more pressure. And as they go rogue, that's not a nice sign. You're already feeling the pressure of LDLC quite a bit.
Around Baron now, just getting a little bit more of that vision that we've talked about so much. LDLC try to control things as much as possible. Look how dark it is for Ego Rogue. They're using the Ezreal ult to scout out. Will spot LDLC members moving into that river bush, so are going to be giving a lot of respect. Of course, we've got Ica down the bot side, has teleport.
Again, you need to make sure that you know, one, where LeBlanc is if you're a Go Rogue, and two, where the Malphite is. They've spotted the Malphite. They have seen that Ica is towards the bot side of the map trying to shove in the wave. And as Gulbok mentioned previously, Ica does have the teleport up and available. But the problem is, you've got pick champions on the side of Rogue. You need the Ahri to be there to land that champ to potentially make a pick together with the Nautilus. You cannot have Knight on the side lane, which means that Ica gets to shove in for free. Again, you see the level discrepancy between the two. Ica has always been one level up, has 20 CS up as well.
Yeah, and it just comes down to the fact that a Go Rogue currently, they cannot play the open map.
The TP flank.
Okay, here we go.
Watch
Let's see what you got.
What can Ica do? There's so many members of Rogue there looking towards Lucca. He's going to be able to dodge away, though. Ica goes gold in the chain. Won't land through, but Knight going to look for the charm. A little bit damage on the Ragnar, but it's only a little bit. The Malphite's so tanky at this point. LDLC can't make the catch work.
In the end, though, Yike still around the vicinity, seeing if he can go in and counter jungle a little bit. Rebel, I think he will be forfeited. This blue buff, unless they're still looking. A Go Rogue, they're aggressive.
Ultimate onto two, that's huge. Just like dancing around trying to get some damage down, but this is all about LDLC exiting in the backline, using the money he's been given to throw the double kill down. Rebel and Knight try to scramble away. The Ezreal ultimate burns through, but it doesn't stop another falling. Ahri goes down. 5 members of LDLC still standing as they can push on.
And at the end for LDLC, it's not all about killing someone. They took Knight's ultimate with 1 TP from Ica. They took Laka completely out of the game. They sent him back to the Founder to regen his HP, and that's where they knew Ahri is immobile at this point, and we're playing 4v5. We're engaging.
And it also just goes to show, even with Ahri being first pick from the side of Knight, taking it away from Ica very comfortable playing that LeBlanc matchup into it, and he's been doing that nicely ever since the laning phase, went out on the favorable trades. Now, when we have an open map state in this mid to late game, well, he's also the one excelling his pressure. You can't help but feel that at Go Rogue, they're just crumbling to it right now.
And again, I think that Malphite catch was so good because he's waiting until all 3 are bounced up at the same place. And you see how LDLC are just coming from every single direction you can think of. Again, you know that Ahri doesn't have the ultimate up and available, and they just pick them off one by one since the Ezreal isn't there.
But also, it's way too far up being there. I mean, you already saw them around. You didn't have vision on your left flank either, so it allowed LDLC to come in where you just drew those arrows. So can't say the setup was phenomenal, but a Go Rogue. Luckily, this is a best of 5. You got room for adaptation, but right now, completely LDLC favored.
It was really clever here from a Go Rogue to sneak in, steal the dragon instantly away. You guys mentioned how important it would be for the Malphite to have that Mountain Soul on him as well, get so tanky. Baron, I think you mentioned that yourself as well. So denying that right now when you fall in behind you, when you're 4,000 gold in deficit, I think is so important. You've just gained yourself another 5 minutes, and you're trying to fend off a Baron, right? 4 members on top side for LDLC, 1 in the mid lane. They're trying to cash in.
I was going to say, you're going to get that extra 5 minutes, but what's your base going to look like? We've already seen the dominance of side lanes coming through. Sinmivak is trying to gain a little bit of gold on the side and give themselves a bit of territory in the bot side. But look, LDLC are crashing into the base. Chase, you've got to go back. As the ultimate comes on through, Locke is gone. Beansu needs to be careful, going to be knocked up, gets his ultimate through as Light throws down the charm. XQ on the side now needs to get the damage through. We need to see what the Zaya can provide. Sinmivak's going to get a bit of poke down, but it looks like it's just going to be an inhibitor that's going to be destroyed.
First inhibitor falls here. Wonder if they can keep going. Ultimate low over on the side of LDLC, but they still have DOS if he wants to engage.
Baron, the tower's going to be taken low by these Baron minions. The first one might even fall. It's Rogue. You're only going to be on a timer, people. You need to get moving as Rebel gets taken to half health, rooted up, but will be able to survive. A nice snipe from Sinmivak might be enough to dissuade the LDLC, but they've got minions pushing in mid. Again, they're perfect with these minion waves.
It doesn't hurt that much. The Ezreal is down, the poke is landing from the Jace, but that's about not it. They use their Baron so well, pushing towards the top side. They're like, one of the big targets of ours is not here, because Simivac is pushing bot lane tower, sorry. And then if we cut Slacker out, and then we take the other poke champion away, we can just shove in the base really quickly. That has been their objective from the start. Take Slacker out of the fight or kill him off while Simivac is on the side, and then we can siege.
And playing the map now just becomes even more difficult. At Go Rogue, at least they're able to put down that bot side, but since the LDLC, they're playing on 2 lanes. They got the mid lane inhibitor, or they got the top lane inhibitor, got the mid lane turret outside of the inhibitor. Now they can play on 2 lanes again, but this time around they're going to do it on the bot side and the mid lane. And now if Simivac wants to play on these side lanes, well, he's going to be playing up against super minions on the top side, slowing a Go Rogue down even further, making matters even more difficult for them.
And honestly, it's a case of, I'm looking at this Ego Rogue side and thinking, what can you actually do in this situation? You've lost out on pretty much every objective. Yes, you've slowed down that dragon for a couple of minutes, but if LDLC is still in this game, having not taken the Nexus by then, surely that's sold and surely that's curtains.
I think the problem right here is that Ica has been left to his own devices the entire time. Right now, the Jace cannot side lane versus a level 16 LeBlanc.
Ooh, Dragon's going to have to go golden, but now Ego Rogue, what are they going to do? They decide to back away. They get a small resource.
Fine.
But that's it.
You're not even sure you had to go golden there, but he just does it so they can keep up the tempo. And now, once again, playing 2 lanes. One mid lane coming through there. You can see Yike pushing it further down towards the rest of LDLC. They're pushing it. On top side, it's the super minions.
They're going to be a defense. Knight moving forward, looking towards Ragnar. Manages to get the charm. If they can take out the Malphite, that could be worthwhile. He's going to flash away. Yikes, of course, up on that top side. LDLC giving some respect still. Going to move away as the minions will crash into the Nexus Tower.
It's not completely timed, though. Mid lane waves comes in. Will the pressure be there from LDLC too? Ica moving up. His auto attacks are going to be doing a fair bit amount of damage. Ramble trying to stop it.
No one is there to defend. I think our Go Rogue are just looking for a pick right there, but everyone is so slippery, and you saw that Malphite had to ult and flash away. He's backing to attack everything that Rock might have left.
Keep your eyes out for this Ragnar ultimate, because you've got a feel that's going to be what starts off this fight. Once again, it's been the case the entire game. Ragnar has been starting everything, as it looks like the inhibitors are all gone. LDLC are going to push forward again.
There is a slight problem when you're playing a poke composition with Ezreal and Jace. Your poke doesn't go past minions. There's going to be double super minions on every single lane from the side of LDLC, and 5 champions that want you dead together with your Nexus.
Oh, this is very aggressive, though. It's one minion wave they're trying to siege on, but they continue with it. But Ari wave should be coming through. Okay.
Keep your eyes on Ragnar. What's going to look for? The ultimate onto 2. They catch them out. They take them down. Sitting in the back, going golden, but will it keep him alive? It's not going to help the rest of his team, though, as Ramble has to dive away. Actually going to go down. Double guild exit kick, and just like that, LDLC, they still can't fall, as they're going to take the first game of this Amazon European Masters semi-final.
And what is that now? What is that now? 10-0 that this team is in this Amazon European Masters. I'm not going to say that this was a clinic, but if you look at the bot side of the map, 6-0-5, your last exit kick, you'll be like, it was